Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 155. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite and Santa Claus. And we are here to talk about video games today, 2 days away from the happiest day of the year if you're a kid, because most likely you're going to get something for Christmas, unless Krampus shows up and then you end up in a sack. So kids, be good. So with that, I am Todd Oxtra, one of your hosts, ready to go. My mom is visiting, and actually my son is next to me, home from college. He just got a new gaming monitor. His buddy got him a new keyboard, so you might hear some clickety clacking. And my mom is actually on the couch over there reading a book. I told her, "Mom, you going to be good?" And she said yes. So we'll see if she gets her gifts too. She just laughed. And she's visiting. So we're all hanging out here. I've got a cat in the room. Very happy to talk to some cool people about video games, including my dear Canardian, who is joining us with apparently a brother-in-law coworker. This is amazing. Mark, how are you doing, bud?
I'm pretty good. All ready for the holidays. Excited. Finn's excited. It's a good time.
Absolutely. And then we are joined by another Canadian from the same province. It's just kind of crazy. Just talking when this gentleman and I were on the Nerd Chat live streaming the video game awards, and he said he was from a certain area. I'm like, hey, my co-host is from there, so why don't you come on and you can outnumber the Minnesotan. So that is Eric, writer for Seasoned Gaming, videos done exclusively on YouTube at Gamepositive. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Yes, New Scotland, the #1 province in all the land.
Woohoo!
The Nova and the Scotia. You got two names. It's very cool. Sounds like it's a foreign land that, sea monsters are on. Oh, actually, that's all real. So,
yeah, 100%.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. So, Eric, you are new to the show, so we always ask a couple of questions for people to get to know you and your gaming life a little bit better. So I am pivoting from my first question because I think it's kind of doesn't work out well. So what is the first video game console that really stole your heart?
It's tough. Okay. There's two answers to this. Because one answer is like, yes, this is the console that games changed from being toys to being like the #1 thing. But the real spark was a game from the console I had before. So that game was Metal Gear Solid on PS1. I got a PS1 and I got Crash Bandicoot, I got Tekken and Twisted Metal. All those games rule. But it was still like one of the toys on my shelf. Like I also had like Commander Chip Hazard, the Small Soldiers figurine, and all the Batman animated series Batmobile. Like they were kind of pretty. The PlayStation was definitely #1, but they're on the same shelf. But then the original Xbox came out, the lead up to that console with The Rock and Bill Gates and all the hype in Halo. That's really when, I was like, okay, I need the magazines. I need to watch Electric Playground all the time. I need to read stuff online. I need to go on GameFAQs.com, print out a review for a game I might want to rent at Blockbuster, bring it to the bathroom and read it while I'm on the toilet. That's when everything changed, was the original Xbox. A lot of ink. Yeah. Ink was cheaper back then, though. I feel I didn't pay for it.
It definitely was. It was all black ink. There was no colors.
It's a lot cheaper when you don't pay for it too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. So yes, to answer the question, the console, I would say original Xbox 100%, but Metal Gear Solid was like the tinder or the spark that really
it made you a man.
Yeah, it made me be like,
made you throw your toys in the garbage. You're like, I'm too old for you. I've got Solid Snake.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, Mark, you got the next one.
I get the next one.
Yes.
What is the first game you bought with your own money?
The first game I bought with my own money, I still have it. That's out of reach, but it's the limited edition steelbook of Doom 3 for the original Xbox.
Wow.
Good
All
pick.
Right.
And the receipt is in there from Blockbuster in Ontario, where I was living there. I got it. Yeah, it's not crisp. It's definitely been played and been on several shelves through my life, but that's the first one for sure.
Amazing.
brand new. I think I might have bought some yard sale stuff or with like
Sure.
whatever, but brand new, day one, paid with my own money, full price. It was sealed when I bought it. That it was the Doom 3 Steelbook.
Awesome.
Did you pay for like the what is it? They offer like the disc protection.
Definitely
in case your
did.
disc breaks.
100%. Had to be safe. $2 disc
all that. I mean, if they have to rewind it so many times, I mean, that's going to put a lot of wear and tear on that disc.
Yeah. Do you
guys
guys
remember
both
rewinding
are
tapes?
digital gamers primarily? Is that true? Because
I have a GameFly subscription.
Depends.
Okay, only reason I ask is because now when you go to GameStop and they like pitch you this, they add in that it covers software glitches, and I'm like, what software?
What?
They're like sometimes like they I hear the pitch, I always decline, but I hear the pitch and they say like sometimes updates can cause games to break and then the disc is and then we can replace the disc and I'm like, do you understand how any of this stuff works?
What? Yeah. Wow.
So like the content's on the disc is when you update. Anyway, I'm sure the listeners understand how that process works, but GameStop says it covers software glitches.
When the console ejects your game across, because it's so broken, it ejects and it just shatters.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what's going to happen.
What happens? Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's phenomenal. I own very few Xbox Series games. I think I might own one, maybe two on disc. But I have a larger Switch physical collection. Because my wife, there's two Switches in the house. So, when it's a single player game or something that we know that we're not going to play together on one console, but we might both each want to play it. Something like the new Zelda game,
Echoes of Wisdom.
Echoes of Wisdom. Like we have a physical copy of that one because we can, trade it back and forth kind of thing. So way more physical Switch games than I expected to go into this console generation. But it just worked out that, with a couple of Switches in the house, it's sometimes easier to just, hey, swap back that little card.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I have not yet been hit with the
software glitch guarantee.
We cover software glitches. That's pretty good.
I love that. Well, I'm a fan of like collector's editions. So like I just got this Hellboy collector's edition from Best Buy. It comes with a cool art book, so I got that. I'm like, that's pretty cool. And I do like buy the limited release games. I've bought like Samurai Jack, which is funny because Samurai Jack, the game that came with my limited edition, has now been delisted on console, so you can't even buy it digital anymore, which is just ridiculous. And I did buy the Steelbook of Redfall, and story about that.
That's not the game though.
No, it didn't include the game. The fun thing about that was I bought the upgrade and I never got the upgrade and I never got a refund for it. So thank you, Xbox.
You had to manually request it. You needed to.
So weird. I did. I went to Bethesda.
Okay.
And they're like, they didn't respond. I'm like, okay. It was so weird.
Wow.
I got that too. And also obviously didn't get the DLC, but I got it like mega clearance. It was like $9 Canadian, so like literally free for you probably.
Yeah.
So they only were going to refund what was on the receipt, and I was like, it's not worth the hassle. But I definitely still have that on my shelf. It stands out too because it's got a red spine.
Oh, it's so nice, and it's like what is it, Concord? I think they sold it for like a week, and then people were just going to buy it once they heard it was dying. They would not sell it to people.
No, it was destroyed. I returned mine because I didn't anticipate the eBay value to go up. It might have just been a fluke. It might be back down now. I hope it is, but I returned it because I was like, dude, just give me my money back so I can buy like Space Marine or something, like a real game that's going to not die in 7 days. But I was one of the ones. I was actually the only one at my GameStop that bought it. Like shocker. And then they're like,
you can get Concord PS5 for like $37. So good decision. Yeah, you don't feel bad. It's not like buying like Devil's Third on Wii U. And now that game is worth so much because we know why it's worth so much.
Yeah.
2 copies were printed probably.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Barry has at least 2 of them. Two of 2. Man, he loved that game. Yeah.
Oh God, it's so crazy. Okay, last question. If you could be any video game mascot, like be a mascot, who would you be?
Do I get to be a character and then become a mascot, or does the character already have to be a mascot?
I mean, I think of like maybe it's just any video game character. I'll just put it that way because I mean, unless you want to be like Crash Bandicoot or Q*bert.
I feel like you gotta be the chief, Master Chief, the greatest mascot of all time.
Well, now that we know he likes to get it on with the ladies, it makes me feel a little bit better about that choice.
That's actually not Master Chief. That's Master Cheeks. That's a
true.
fictional
It's his alter
character.
ego. That's his adult entertainment name.
As far as I'm concerned, that show doesn't even exist. But yeah, I love Halo. I won't dive into this, but just to get the ball rolling for hot takes, I think Halo is the second most influential game of all time after Mario. Just leave that out there for the chat.
I can see it, especially like if we talk about the first-person shooters on consoles.
Yeah,
I mean,
without Halo,
there wasn't much before it.
If you think about being able to be precise with thumbsticks and think about how many games that applies to, and then think about like matchmaking and how many games that applies to, it's like 70% of like all games you play right now. They all have some form of analog stick precision, which is made easier by the tools that kind of Halo invented. And then matchmaking obviously is used everywhere. And then, there's all kinds of stuff, but I'm also a fanboy. So
everybody who played GoldenEye right now are just yelling at you. Well, GoldenEye! And I'm like, have you played GoldenEye recently?
Played GoldenEye.
Oh, wait, we did. When they brought it on, all the different systems, like, it's not as good as we remember.
No, I beat the first level and I was like, oof. The music's great. I'm going to keep it paused and just have that play.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Although I think Mark would disagree with you. He would go back to Wave Race. So,
hell yeah. I'll play Wave Race all day, every day. And like GoldenEye still held up if you had an N64 controller. It just doesn't translate to twin thumbsticks, and I will die on that hill. The N64 controller is not great, but it's great for N64 games because modern controllers don't have enough buttons. So fight me, Todd.
Humans don't have enough hands.
And humans don't have enough hands, but that's another...
the only controller with a third leg, as I will say.
That is it. It's so funny, like, that there's like a slight alternate universe where Apple, instead of Microsoft, has responsible for gaming the way it is. If Halo is that influential, because like it was so close to being an Apple.
Bungie was a Mac developer essentially for the longest time.
I played Marathon like when I was younger, and then it was just like,
Myth.
hey, the
remember
guys
that
that made
series
Marathon
Myth they made? They had the open environment and
Halo was supposed to be an RTS under Apple, and Myth is the reason why it's not on Apple and why it's on Xbox, because they printed all the copies of Myth with a bug that when you uninstalled the game, it deleted your hard drive. And so they had to recall every single copy, which was like a huge financial hit, and it made it so that they needed to be acquired in order to stay alive. And that's how Microsoft got in.
Crazy.
Would GameStop cover that under their protection program?
Sounds like it. Yeah, I think so.
They're like, insane. You remember the Myth bug?
Yeah.
We got your back.
Insane.
That is funny.
Like like my brother and I played Marathon. Like we had a Mac that, like when we were growing up, and like, the games on it weren't like a lot. So it was like Marathon was like one of those games that we could play. And it was like, hey, this Halo thing looks pretty cool. Like I remember seeing or hearing about that like in a Mac magazine or like at a Mac event or something. And it's like, oh, and then, okay, like Xbox is doing the Halo thing. Like, maybe let's watch this console. Like that looks pretty cool.
Well, Halo was supposed to be a RTS game first, right?
Yeah.
That's what it was for Mac. Yeah. And it's and it wasn't even, they didn't have any expectation of it being like the best game. It wasn't even the game like leading up to launch. It was not the game that they were pushing. They were pushing Project Gotham. And like some of the sports stuff. And there was an E3 right before like November when it came out, where Halo was busted completely, and all the previews were saying it was bad, and like it's like one of the least impressive games for the Xbox. And then also I just lost my entire train of thought. The multiplayer for Halo was cut, and then like a couple guys like just worked overtime on weekends and just got it in, and then at the last second Jason Jones, the guy who was like ran Bungie back then, I think he still might a little bit. He, to prank his friends, like the developers in playtest, like made the pistol like way too strong as a joke, and it got in because he did that joke way too close to gold, and then it became part of the game. And if that pistol's not overpowered and as strong as it is, and everybody just using ARs, the multiplayer doesn't become as fun or as competitive as it was. It's like that mistake of him pranking people and then forgetting to take it out or not having time to take it out. That little mistake is like, as such, like it's like the butterfly effect. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But I could talk about Halo all day.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's
Master
it's really
Chief
interesting
today,
to see. That was
back in Fortnite for the first time in a very long time.
It's for sale.
Yeah, Master Chief is back in the item shop for the first time. It's been a while. I don't know exactly how long, but it's been a while. So I just saw right before we started recording, I saw a little clip on Instagram that the Chief is back and ready to go.
I bought him in
time
Siege
for Christmas.
Yeah,
very cool
under that tree.
Gotta love it. Well, thank you, Eric, for giving us a little bit of inside or knowledge into your brain. We appreciate it. And I'm just a little disappointed you didn't pick Snake, but that's okay. There's room in your heart for many, not just Master Chief. But with that, Mark, tell all the cool people that are listening to this show about the awesome people that make this show happen.
Absolutely. Yes. I want to thank all the amazing people that support us over at patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. You can join these people for 1 week for absolutely no cost whatsoever to you, and check out all the exclusive shows, 0 ads on the shows, Discord benefits, and more. After that, if you want to support us, it's as little as $2 a month, and you can join people like our besties tier, Derek Trevelyan, aka the Figure Dude, Francie, the official hairstylist of Secret Friends Unite, in the States. Sadly, doesn't make house calls to Canada yet, but we're working on it. Xbox Expansion Pass and Charlie's Uncle Tim, the Friends with Benefits tier, John Sador, Phoenix Sisters Entertainment, Brendan Myers, Corey and HD, aka the Boss Rush CEO, Matthew Keel, and Kurt Krug, aka he's got some connections. And of course, last but not least, the best family in the biz, the Secret Friends Super Squad, Sean, Stella, and Henry Nias. Thank you all so much for everything you do. If you don't feel like tossing a couple of bucks our way, that's perfectly fine. You can help us in other ways, such as joining our Discord group or sharing the show with a friend. Share a link, share social media links to any of the shows or us, or fire off a reel or a YouTube video to a friend that you think will dig the stuff that we do, and hit subscribe. All of those things help us grow and help us out immensely. So thank you to everyone that I listed and everyone that's listening or watching right now. You guys are all awesome.
Absolutely. It's not the end of the year. If you haven't given out all of your gifts, you've got more to give. You can give our show as a gift subscription. $2 a month. You can give away 1 month for folks that are geeks at heart and want to check out some new content. By all means, give them a treat. It's one size fits all, fits in a stocking. You can take it along with you wherever you go. It's the perfect gift for the geek you love. And then something very cool. We had our COD Blops 6 giveaway, and we had a winner. Slav K, aka Kiss the Sky on Blue Skies. He did all the things that you could ask. He became a Patreon. He also, for a trial, he followed us on YouTube and subscribed and commented, and also left a review on Spotify. So thank you very much,
Amazing.
Slav. We appreciate you, and hopefully you'll stick around.
Absolutely.
Well, it's that time of the episode again where we decide about buying, renting, or returning something. Whether you're buying something at Blockbuster, returning it, or renting it, and you may have kept your receipt in case you want to return it, like certain people that we're talking to now. But with that, we're talking about Christmas treats. So we got to buy, rent, return one of these. We've got eggnog, candy canes, and gingerbread cookies. Basically, the things you associate with this time of the year. You can love them, you can hate them, but you know what? Everybody has a favorite. So with these, Eric, take a pick.
I have a qualifying question.
See, I'm not the only one who asks qualifying questions. Thank you, Eric.
It's important. It's not important
Thank
for the buy. The buy is locked in. It's been locked. Like I didn't even have to read the rest. But anyway, candy canes. Are we talking mint only, or do cherry candy canes count?
Great question.
Mark, do you want to make a call on this? Because I have no opinion. I just said candy canes.
Yeah, you know what? Because I'm gonna say candy cane, like traditional mint candy canes only, because I think then we're gonna start getting, if we let candy canes branch off, then we're gonna let everything go crazy, right? We're gonna be doing gingerbread houses and eggnog with a little
eggnog,
like rum in it, you know, like. When's the craziness going to stop? So I think if we just call it like just straight up eggnog, mint candy canes, and gingerbread person cookies, I think that was the
then they can have frosting on them, correct? Though, right?
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah. Okay. I mean, you have to have the frosting.
But you don't associate eggnog with alcohol in it. That's what I always do, Mark. I just think it's. I mean, if you're not of age, obviously, but I always associate eggnog with some type of alcohol, if that's your preference.
No, I just drink rum and then eggnog is separate.
Oh, you're not a Caligula like me. Okay, that's okay, because that's actually what I'm drinking tonight.
All right. Excellent. That's a big glass for alcohol and eggnog. You don't mess around.
I don't mess around. Okay, Eric. Do you feel like satisfied in your answer or your qualification?
Yes, I actually also just realized that it wouldn't change anything. I'm just going to keep the order as if, even if cherry doesn't count. Cherry candy canes, as a disclaimer, are better than mint candy canes. They all agree. Okay, perfect.
Sure.
I would return the gingerbread cookies. Gingerbread cookies, in my experience, maybe this is a Canadian exclusive, they are usually like really crunchy. They're not normally they always taste stale. Whatever you put in the gumdrop buttons, whether it's gumdrops or M&Ms or whatever you put in there, I don't know what happens, but like when it touches the gingerbread, it just gets worse. I don't know what happens there. There's some science probably that I didn't learn yet. So yeah, that's definitely going to be return. Rent candy canes. Candy canes are a staple. Obviously, they have multiple use cases too. Like you can slobber it down to a fine point and use it as a shank if you're ever in trouble.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can spin them on your finger in shank form if you're feeling dangerous, which is like obviously pretty fun. But eggnog, okay, this is like, I feel like it's so weird to me how this is like so controversial. Eggnog is so good. Like it comes out here in like September and I'm buying it every grocery trip. I don't put alcohol in it because I just think it's so good on its own. Eggnog, they have eggnog McFlurries sometimes, delicious. They had an eggnog milkshake a while back, amazing.
Eggnog latte.
Eggnog latte. Eggnog is so good. So good. I wish it was year round. I'd buy it year round if it was. My girlfriend made eggnog cookies before, like with eggnog flavored frosting. Delicious. Eggnog is just awesome. And anyone who I'm not convinced that anybody that hates it ever tried it.
Agreed.
You know who dislikes eggnog?
Like half the world, it feels like.
I know. That's the sad part. It's like we need to convince them. There needs to be somebody needs to endorse milk, like the old Got Milk commercials or something like that. Eggnog needs some love.
Eggnog. Yeah, we need that.
Got nog. Yeah. It's very popular in our household. We go through it very quickly. So I hid one and brought it out tonight.
We're gonna see in our Discord group lit up with this question. So this one was and we're gonna see a bunch of people hating eggnog in like 4 seconds. So just wait, and then we can condemn all these crazy people in a minute. Because
I'm just
you're
proud
right
of all of you that you made the right decision.
Yeah,
it was pretty easy.
Okay, Mark, do we want to hit on some of our fun people over in our Discord?
Yeah. Let's call some people out for being wrong. I'll start with BT Haran. Easy one here. They say easy one. All right. Easy to be so wrong. Buy gingerbread cookies, rent candy canes, and don't even bother returning the eggnog. Throw it out.
That's
Come on now.
abuse.
Just
It's a waste.
Call the police.
Give it to
just give it
I'll
to
pay the shipping.
There we go. That's it. Easy solve. Easy
Don't
solve.
buy it. Just send us the money and we'll buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Todd, you want to jump on the next one here?
Yeah, Chris Berto, who was on our show last week, return eggnog. I'm tired of pretending this hellish concoction is enjoyable by anyone with functioning taste buds and an educated palate. Man, those are fighting words, Chris. My goodness.
Chris was awesome to have him on the show for that one and only time. Really, really nice appearance.
I don't know what happened to Chris. I think he fell off the planet or something.
Yeah, he got crushed in an eggnog related incident. Never to be seen again. Terrible.
Yeah, he said, rent the gingerbread cookie. That is the quintessential holiday flavor, but I only ever wanted at Christmas time. I mean, I agree. That's you don't want a gingerbread cookie like in July. So I get that.
You want a candy cane in July?
Yeah, I'd mess with a gingerbread.
You put gingerbread cookies on your tree or candy canes? Do you tape gingerbread cookies to Christmas cards? No, candy canes.
That's right.
Well, candy canes, you always find one somewhere. Like, oh, it was in a drawer. I'll have a candy cane.
They have staying power.
They do. Well, certain time. You go like 2 or 3 years.
They get a little chewy.
They get chewy. Yeah, that's not a good thing. It said, buy the candy cane, aka peppermints. These are a year-round treat, and they deserve to be bought and cherished far longer and more frequently than the gingerbread cookies. So they do make your breath smell good. So that's probably a great positive for all year round.
But would you rather have an after 8? Or is that a Canadian thing? You know what I'm talking about. After 8.
I know what you're talking about. I don't think I'd ever choose an after 8. You don't have after 8s down there?
Like a dark. So you can get them as like you can get.
What the fuck is wrong with your country? Sorry, God, Nias family. But like seriously, what is?
Are they? Oh, they're mints.
What is?
You can get them like in like wafer, like flat, like rectangles, where they're like a mint with like a thin dark chocolate layer. Or
we
you
have
get
like
them
Frango mints, Andes mints.
That sounds like
you ever had of
you just made
Andes mints?
You just made that up.
Andes? No,
100,000%.
Wait, you guys not have Andes
or Andes mints?
Okay,
just
so
white Scotch mints.
No, Andes mints are chocolate, but they're like almost like bricks. They're short, thin wafers, but they're like thinner.
Look up Andes making this up.
They're very good. No. And Frango is actually they're made by a local place.
Yes, they're similar. The Andes mints are like Wish.com version of After 8.
Okay.
No, that's they make shakes with like Andes mints. They are top tier Andes mints.
So I bought like stocking stuffers at the dollar store. They literally had these mints at the dollar store instead of After 8. I had to go to a fancier establishment to get those.
Yeah.
So dollar store doesn't lie, unfortunately.
I think there's a reason they're only in Canada. They were.
You can get them in tube form, like little black like chocolate tubes with mints individually
Todd,
wrapped.
any country that doesn't allow Kinder Surprise for kids because your kids just eat chocolate eggs with toys inside them whole like velociraptors is just, you can't talk about candy anymore. That's it. We win.
They allow them now, Mark. They allow them now.
No, they don't allow Kinder Surprise. They allow those stupid ones that you peel and eat with a spoon.
Yeah.
That's not a Kinder Surprise.
I don't know.
That's caveman stuff. That's weird.
Yeah. That's nonsense.
Who puts toys in candy?
Every other country except America.
Sounds like
where
a
kids
child
eat
predator or someone
whole.
that's trying to kill children.
Yeah.
They put razor blades in chocolate. You guys happy about that?
No, you have to build them yourself. They're educational.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think we'll have to agree to not agree at all. Moving on. Well, there's some odd takes apparently even in this room. You know, I thought we were all together and aligned, and now mints have tore us apart.
If you tried After 8, you would agree with us. I think.
Yes,
well, send
100%.
me some, and I'll gladly.
We're going to figure this out.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Schloss Ritter came in with buying candy canes, a relatively long-lasting sugar and mint treat. Rent gingerbread. I have no strong feelings one way or the other. The only cookie I really like have chocolate or nuts in them, so he's not, on the fence there. Which means returning eggnog. Not sure I've ever even braved trying this.
Told you.
Yep.
Fear?
So
Is there fear about eggnog?
They never tried it. They hate it. without even trying.
And said, at least you didn't say fruitcake, which I think would have been a divisive return.
Oh,
Slash,
I'm
you
not
get a
adding that
few
at all
people
in.
that are like,
I've
you
never
need to
had
buy this and
fruitcake.
everyone's wrong. Right.
I've seen it. It looks like
Yeah.
jubes in a old crusty loaf.
It absolutely is. It tastes like it looks. You're not missing much.
Now,
My mom was
wife
telling
would
me how long
disagree.
she took making a fruitcake today, and I was just like, why?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
Old people love them.
Yeah.
And my father-in-law is from the UK, and he says, my wife says, oh, they're so much better over there. He made it, and it takes him like forever because you soak like the fruit in like alcohol for a month, I think. And then you make it and like, oh, that should be great then. No, you could use it as a weapon in Indiana Jones. You would pick up the fruitcake, knock on an Italian fascist.
It is pretty.
And there you go.
Dense.
It is. It is. Yes. But yeah, they send them to us and I say, thank you. Give it to the family. Give it to my wife. So there we go. Let's see. Chipotle Bear from the Nerd Shed. He says, buy eggnog. Shout out to Captain Logan. So we have some allies. Thank you. Rent candy canes. Return gingerbread cookies. Daenerys Primero co-signed this. So yes, I feel as I look at this, I think we may be, let's see, that's 6. That's 5 versus 3. We win. Eggnog.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. Well, Mark, you have to give yours. So officially make your claim.
See, this is a tough one because I want to buy them all because these are all like just Christmas staples for me, and it's, I love them. I love them all equally. We just built a gingerbread house. I know I already disqualified gingerbread houses, but like built a gingerbread house. Like I'm staring at it right now. It's great. So for that reason, gingerbread cookies, I'm going to put a little lower on the list simply because I'm that weird kind of person that you said, like, would you have a gingerbread cookie in July? Hell yeah, I'd eat a gingerbread man in July. Like, let's go. I'll eat those things all year round. To me, they can, like, my family was like really weird. We used to they used to do those at like birthday parties. So like, I remember like going to my cousin's birthday parties and they'd always have like gingerbread cookies and cake and stuff, but like you get a gingerbread cookie too. I don't know. It was like, and they were always from the same bakery.
So Eric, I got to ask, is this a Canadian thing?
Oh no, I know it's not a Canadian thing. No, this is my weird family thing.
Okay.
But like I'll go to like the bakery where like I get my bread and all that kind of stuff. Like I'll just go there and sometimes I'll have fresh gingerbread cookies. Doesn't matter the time of year. And I'll be like, bam, hit me up with one of those gingerbread mans. So I think I'm going to hit that as the return on this one because I love them, but they're not specifically just Christmas for me.
Oh, okay.
See what So
you celebrate them daily, Mark, in your life.
I celebrate gingerbread cookies when I feel like celebrating. It's not just a Christmas thing. Now, candy canes, eggnog. Now we're getting into some stuff that's it's gonna hurt me because I got to pick one of these to buy and one to return or one to rent. Mm-hmm. And it's tough because I really want to buy eggnog and support my eggnog loving people here. But my grandmother always used to love candy canes. She would always just like load me up with candy canes. That was like, we were the two people in the family that like loved candy canes the most when I was a kid. Oh man, tasting candy canes, like just, I'm seeing one over there by the gingerbread house. Reminds me of my grandmother. I think I have to go with a buy candy canes specifically for that memory. And it's a really, really, really close rent for eggnog because I love eggnog. But yeah, it's teetering. It's teetering. But I could ask me in 5 minutes, I could change. But like for right now, I'm feeling eggnog. Yeah. I'm feeling candy canes for the buy and eggnog for the rent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Okay.
Mark, I really salute you for not cheating this like I did 2 episodes ago where I bought 2.
I'll like legitimately buy all 3. Like I want to just pause this and find a store that's open at
I've been known to break the rules. Mark's been known to make my judgment calls different. So yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes.
So what's a holiday treat that you guys like a lot enough to buy that's not on the list? Let's break some borders here. We've got the most generic options. I want something crazy that I never heard of.
Let me see.
I can start if you need some
pierogies. I buy pierogies all year round, but I buy them specifically from a family that makes them, and they only make them and sell them around the holidays. So every year I have to message Sham and be like, yo, I need to be on your pierogi list. Cause like the ones you buy in the store are just not the same. Just they don't cut it. So like I need my holiday pierogies. I got 2 bags this year, 2 big sucker bags. Cause like I go through them way too quick. They're so good. That's one. It's not like, that's not like a sweet treat, but like every holiday, it's like it become a tradition of like, just like, Sam, I need to be on your list. First thing. I know it's November, but like, don't forget me. So yeah.
It's a meal and you don't feel bad about eating it because you're like, I'm eating a meal.
It's good stuff.
I'm eating pierogies.
Yeah.
That's awesome. For me, it's mincemeat pie because it truly is something my wife really got me into. And not the ones with like beef tallow and weird stuff. It's just like, apples and raisins, beautiful, delicious in a pie, can have like any type of crust you want, but mincemeat pie, it's always, it's either going to be a Christmas or a Thanksgiving, and it's always in that window, and I will get it and I will always eat it. And I love it. But I do not find a lot of mincemeat pies for sale after January 1st.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I've ever had a pierogi or mincemeat pie in my life, but I would say for me, I don't know how popular these are, but my family always makes score bar squares. It's like Ritz cracker and score mixed into like this crust with like icing on top and little flake. They are like, I could literally eat 1,000 of them. I will get sick, but I won't stop. They're so good.
Score bars.
And shout out to hard root beer, vodka root beers. I always drink one of those on Christmas Eve after all the stuff's ready. I put a movie on. It's always like a new movie because I can't go to the theater anymore because of fatherly duties. I used to go to the theater every Christmas day. And I'd crack a hard root beer, and it's just like, that means Christmas. That's like banging the gong and starting Christmas when you open that up.
I love that. That's awesome.
I love it.
If we're going with homemade stuff, yeah, you had me at Score Bar 100%. The rest of it sounded delicious.
Score Bar. It's the superior toffee candy bar. It's hard to find here in the States, but I love it. It's better than Heath. Oh yeah, Heath is the predominant. Is Heath big?
What the hell is Heath?
I don't know what that is.
Oh God. So Heath is like the big coffee bar in the States, and Score is like considered kind of like elusive. You never know where you're going to find it, but when you do, you buy it. And I wolf Score bars.
I can find the recipe is very simple. I think it's like 5 ingredients. I'll send it to you. It's so insanely good, like insane. Not good for you.
If we're talking homemade stuff, I got to give a shout out. My mom makes Jewish shortbread cookies, crescent moon shortbread cookies with like cinnamon sugar kind of on top.
Yeah.
Eric, you were saying like that's your kickoff to Christmas. I go over to my parents' place for Christmas Eve. I have one of those cookies and some eggnog, and that is like gong. Christmas has begun.
Yeah.
Nobody talk to me about anything but like ho ho ho's and Merry Christmases from like the next couple of days. That is, I'm locked in at that point. It's amazing.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So this is very interesting. I would add on it these amazing, and I haven't had it in a million years, but I believe I need to ask my mom about this later. But it's a Scandinavian thing where you dip a metal form into batter and you deep fry it, and then you put powdered sugar on it. Amazing. They pop out. It's just like a funnel cake, but you have like a form, make snowflakes or whatever. Like, it's delicious. Hot dough fried with powdered sugar. It's beautiful. Can't remember what it's called. Fun fact about Score versus Heath: they are both made by the Hershey Company. Both toffee bars. It's so bizarre.
What's the difference?
It's like Bizarre World.
Super weird.
And you can get them at Hershey Land, and yeah, it's weird. So, yeah, don't understand. how we have two.
Very
It
strange.
looks like extra stuff score. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. I think Heath bars have maybe some nuts in them too, but I don't even remember the nuts first. But both delicious. But score wins. Score, like I said, always felt more adult, like it was the sexy candy bar. But we'll leave it at there. So we'll move on. I'll give mine. I guess I need to wrap this up. So I am buying eggnog. I love it to pieces. Just reminds me of Christmas Vacation. That's why we put the Marty Moose mug. Have it, and like you can do many things with it. It's great. And then I am renting gingerbread cookies. I love them to pieces. At my holiday party, they had them there. They were delicious. They were chewy. They're wonderful. And we have a gluten, because my wife is gluten free. We have a gluten free gingerbread cookie mix we're going to make, and I cannot wait. I love them. I love molasses cookies though too.
Same.
So kind of like very familiar. And candy canes, I like them, but they're candy canes. To me, it's like there's always a million around. They're not like, it never feels special, but I get it if you feel they're special. But they're candy canes. They're good.
How do you open a candy cane? Do you do the crack and unwrap
with my teeth,
or the twists and pull?
No, I want it to be together in one piece. I don't want to break it.
I was
I typically find the spot.
Snap off the little cane part.
Really?
Yeah, I snap off the round part and then put that in like it's like a
I've
mouth
done that
guard
before.
And then
yeah.
That's it. 100%. Yeah,
that's what we're.
Wow, anyway. This is so refined.
That's the Canadian way.
Don't ask Mark about your hockey fruit or anything else.
And then you sharpen the shiv.
Yeah,
and
it's perfect. Yeah,
this
makes me always think of Die Hard 2, where he takes the icicle and stabs the guy. As a victimless. Well, yeah, no weapon was found. Okay, well, hopefully everyone enjoyed their picks, and if you hate us because of something we mentioned, and you haven't heard of After 8, whatever it is, talk to the Canadians and let them purchase them. So we'll go now to what we've been gaming. So we'll start with Eric. What have you been gaming, man?
I have been playing a couple of things. I've been playing Indiana Jones, which you might talk about later. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'll talk about that together if you want.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so I have two big games and a small game and then a life consuming game that I've been playing. Indiana Jones is one of the big games that I've been playing, but it's kind of like sharing time with other stuff. So I'm not super far, and I'm like playing it in kind of like a completionist way. So I'm still in the Vatican, still doing stuff there. I finally, after maybe 10 hours, did like the first major kind of story beat, I would say, in the Vatican, where you kind of go into a main mission path. Anyway, I won't get into spoilers, but that was insane. Really, really cool stuff. I love the game. I know we kind of talked about this in another Discord, Todd. I really, really love Uncharted. And when I first saw the trailer where they just showed like the hat and said they're making the game, basically, I was like, Indiana Jones Uncharted game. I'm totally in. Yeah. And that was kind of what I had wanted. So and that's not what it is at all. But it's not necessarily disappointing because once I learned who was making it and who the director is, the guy that did Butcher Bay on the original Xbox, which was a fantastic game. This is very similar to that. It's more like an immersive sim, and the decision to go to first person is so awesome because like half of the time in Indiana Jones in the movie and in the game, you are trying to figure out things and solve problems. And to do that in the game, you have to look at all the clues and the evidence and the environmental storytelling and everything. And if you're in third person, you can't see that stuff. So being up close and personal, being able to pick something up and look at it and see it, like that's all part of the gameplay loop. And the game would never work in third person. I actually kind of wish that they didn't pull you out into third person when you are climbing ladders and stuff, because like just keep me immersed. I think they did that to kind of appease the people who were nervous about it being first person, because I think a lot of people had the Uncharted Indiana Jones let's go kind of mindset from the tease. But overall, I think it's great. It's one of the better first party Xbox games from a single player perspective in a very long time. In my opinion, I think it's probably the best since Halo Infinite's campaign, which was 2001. So it's been a few years. I still got a ways to go, but yeah, Machine Games is like top tier studio. Never made a bad game. I'm willing to overlook Youngbloods because that was a weird project that was that was a co-development with other people.
Yeah, that was a weird one. Yeah,
Yeah.
the co-op element, it never worked for me either. But Eric, I think, we had a very good discussion about this in the nerd chat, because I was asking, because I got started, and Mark, obviously I want your opinions on this too. I started off, the opening is amazing. Love the it's amazing and it's fun, and I like the fact that you get to relive, I don't want to spoil it, but a very iconic moment with Indiana Jones. Really cool. So I'm like, okay, I love where they're going with this. It feels like it's first person, and you're dealing with things you're familiar with. Then I get to, and then I get to the next part of the game. I'm like, this is cool too. Then I get to the Vatican, and I'm like, oh crap. If this is going to be a stealth game, I'm not, because I don't want a game where I'm just sneaky, hit a guy in the head, hide the body, do that. I just don't enjoy that type of gameplay. Did not enjoy Dishonored, because I always feel like, I keep getting discovered. So, but once people started basically saying, just change the difficulty, make it no longer a stealth game. Once I did that, and it's great because you can adjust the action and the adventure portion. The action part is the combat, the stealth detection, all the fun stuff. And then the adventure is more of the puzzle solving, things like that. I'm like, I'm all in and having a good time. I don't want to have to worry about the fascists coming after me in hordes. And once I did that, I'm like, I'm enjoying it a lot more, because to me, Indiana Jones was never a stealth movie persona either. So I'm like, what can you do to, go beyond that and really make it a part? So I'm like, if all I'm doing is sneaking and stealthing for 18 hours, I'm like, I'm out. I do not want to do that, because that's not what Indiana Jones either. Yes, he's not killing a bunch of zombies either, or Nazis either, but it's like a good balance of like, oh, there's some iconic moments, but there's him puzzle solving and things like that. So once I get to that, I'm like, I'm in, I'm all in. I did get through the first part of the Vatican where I'm talking to my, the priest friend. I don't want to get anything away. It's very cool. I like the atmosphere, the environment, all in, really digging it now. I'm glad I'm glad they let people play to their strengths, and not force you into something that you're going to dislike, because I think people would walk away then. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I'm having a great time with this game. I was one of those people who kind of expected it to be Uncharted. Although I think I've been saying for a while that like I didn't want it fully Uncharted style, because I didn't want to see Indiana Jones just like mass murdering a bunch of like fascists or Nazis. Like I didn't want it to be like a run and gun, but I also like notoriously do not like heavy stealth games, but I'm finding this game's really, really well balanced. And I'm treating it kind of like a Metroid Prime, where it's more adventure. It's more of that like scanning things. It's more of taking pictures and finding those clues and environmental hints and that kind of stuff. There's one thing, like when you were saying about the first person stuff and how immersive that feels and being able to solve those puzzles up close. Absolutely. 100%. The other part of it that I love, and I don't know if this was like just a happy thing that happened while they were developing it or whatever, but like because of the dynamic lighting and stuff, there's certain scenes where you can walk through a door or walk into an area and he just casts that iconic shadow, and you just kind of like, you see that for a second. And like, I've caught myself a few times being like, oh shit, I'm Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
All right. Like you just, that silhouette is so damn iconic. And like, when you catch it, it just like every single time it's happened so far, I've just stopped moving, and it's just like appreciating this moment of like, this is so awesome. I am Indiana Jones. I'm not like, and I think that would be a break of that third person of like, I'm controlling Indiana Jones. It's like, no. I am like, this is how we're doing stuff. So playing the game like that and trying, like Todd, like you said, like putting myself in those movies and thinking of how the combat is in those movies. That sometimes, there's too many people around. You want to kind of sneak up. You want to hit someone over the head with a guitar. You want to grab what's in the environment. You want to toss something and run the other way. But then other times you grab someone with your whip and you come up and cold cock them in the face. And it's just like, all right, like let's do it this way for a second. And I just love that they kind of allow you to play around with both of those elements, or, use a pistol. You can pick up a rifle, and you can either use that as a baseball bat or you can shoot someone, depending on how you want the game to go. And again, being able to play up or down the difficulty in each part that you want, I think is a brilliant plan, or a brilliant idea, and executed really, really well here. But man, I am absolutely loving the attention to detail, the thoughtfulness of making this feel like a great Indiana Jones movie. Depends on what kind of game you expect and want from this. It could be a great game. It could be an okay game, but like the Indiana Jones story and the care that they've put into it for fans is just like top notch. It's amazing. I love it.
It really feels like a movie. Like I feel like some people have like a memory of what those movies were, and they obviously remember the set pieces like everybody does. But I recently watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I think people forget like how many times he puts on a costume and sneaks around, or how many times he sneaks up and knocks somebody out and can sneaks past them, or how much time he spends talking to people about like history and how this is like, it's pretty evenly distributed in the movie. It's not just an action full action movie. And I think the game does a very good job of doing pretty consistently what the movie does in terms of its pacing, and when it pumps the gas on, and when you sit down and think a little bit, and when you sneak up, and when you put on this, like it's very, it did just a great job. It really feels like it could slide in as like a movie between Arc and I think Temple. I think that's when this takes. I can't remember, but like you could just slide it right in between one of those movies.
It's 41, I assume, because the fascists are starting to get, well, maybe 39. I don't know. Because they said like the fascists are rising up, and so it's around that, probably that time frame, which makes sense. I am curious because I have not seen it yet. So how the more action elements take place, I don't really know. I don't really have anything to judge it as of yet, because I really haven't been into a moment like that beyond just the trying to get to where I need to go in the Vatican, which is just more stealthy and stuff like that. So I am curious, like how like some of those set pieces happen, and then I am interested about the traversal, because I don't think of Indiana Jones as like a traversal character too, like doing a lot of like climbing up like Nate Drake does anyway. So I wasn't expecting a lot of that. You do get a lot of just climbing up to a spot, but I am curious how that works out.
Yeah. From what I've seen so far, like it is, again, I find it's all very like mostly stuff from the movies. Like occasionally you will say like, okay, I'm not getting in that way, so let's use the whip and climb up onto a small terrace. But it's not like I'm going to scale a whole lot of stuff. It's just like take advantage of what's there to maneuver around and get around what I need to. Now there are some that are a little bit more played up than they would be in a movie, but it's a video game. But I'd never so far have not experienced something I'm like, this is outlandish amount of like climbing or doing superhuman stuff that like Indy would not do in a movie kind of thing. As far as like the
do you think we'll be climbing in the trees with monkeys?
Yeah, maybe we'll see if we get to a jungle, how that one plays out. As far as like the big action set pieces, I don't know if like there's been a couple of situations where I've been detected or something like that, and like you just get swarmed. And I've had that happen to me twice, and I died both times because it's just overwhelming swarm of people coming at you. And you know, both times I was not quick enough to get my gun out. So I was like trying to like parry things and like run away, and then they'd chase me, and it was just kind of like all out panic. So I don't know if there's going to be like massive action set pieces. There are some encounters that feel a little bit more like this is supposed to be like a higher stakes kind of fight. You have to get through this big guy. You have to fight him.
Did you guys all get to the big guy in the Vatican?
Yeah.
That part was hilarious.
One of, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I all I can say is I think Indy did kill him. My Indy killed him, because I ain't nobody surviving that. I mean, although you can attack people with a fly swatter, which I think is just absolutely hilarious. Like there's a fly.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just kind of crazy. So I was thinking about something like an iconic event, like so. If you think of Indiana Jones and like when he's fighting the big Nazi, the tank.
Oh, like the plane. Yeah.
So are we going to get something like that? That's kind of like it is control the environment. Maybe you try to get the Nazi into maybe a precarious environment where you're kind of doing that, because Indy's never been good at like fighting multiple people at a time. He's just not that type of guy.
I mean, it's got to be a rematch with the Giant, right? Like there's got to be that kind of a set piece big match. 100%.
Was that Tony Todd?
Yeah.
It looked just like him. I'm
like
like,
his
that might be. Is that his last role?
Yeah, I think so. One of them at least. My understanding, I don't know what happens, or I didn't leave the Vatican yet, but I know that there are some chapters that are not like that, where you're just dropped into like basically like a mini open world. There's some chapters that are more linear and more focused on a particular beat. And I feel like there's probably some things that are similar to the intro, at least like the ending of the intro, but probably much grander, because the intro obviously is pulling from something. But anyway, I would assume that there's probably some chase scenes. Like this is just a pure assumption. You're probably going to run from some stuff. You're probably going to hang off some, like, I think there's, that's what I would.
Sounds like there's no vehicle play either. Dan, Daddy Dwally was like saying there's no vehicle like missions where you're driving away. So that's interesting too.
Yeah.
Cool. Last comment about this. I like how you get to use the whip in certain ways with certain parts of the game. I don't want to give that away either. Although I relied on it and I thought it worked and it didn't. And then that didn't go well. So yeah, just. All right. It's cool. It's like 18 hours. So I think this is where I need to finish. I'll get into my stuff, but this is definitely doable probably by the end of the year. Hopefully they'll be able to knock this out before the end of the year.
Wow. I think I'm like over 10. I didn't leave the Vatican yet.
What? Oh my God. It kind of reminds me of Dragon Age. Leave the hinterlands. Yeah.
I won't get into too much. I won't talk as much about the next other games I'm playing. I'm playing Outlaws. I think that game's super underrated, but I will say disclaimer, I'm playing it after all the patches. But it feels very, very Star Wars, like as authentic as Indiana Jones is for that franchise. Feels just as authentic. And I think Kay Vess is a pretty cool character. I'm playing Killer Frequency, an indie game. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It's the premise is actually really cool. The core of the game, it's kind of just like a narrative game, but the premise is you are a big time radio host that moves to a small town, and you become like the de facto radio guy in that town. And there's a murderer going around the town, and the chief of police has to like take one of the victims to another thing, and they route all the 911 calls to your radio station. And so you're sitting as a VJ or whatever guy at the radio, and people will call 911, get rerouted to you, and they'll be like, the killer's here. Like, what do I do? And then, like, just to give an example, like one guy is like trapped in a maze, like a corn maze on Halloween, and the killer's there, and you have to like run around the station because you think like one of your coworkers had a pamphlet that had a map of the maze. And you find that, you get back to the microphone, and you're like, okay, if you're here, you have to go right, and you have to go to get and stuff like that. So they use all the environment in the radio station. You have to use that to try to help the people calling in to get away from this. It's pretty cool. I would say it's all first person. It's immersive. You can like take cassettes out and put it in the player and play music on the radio. It's pretty cool. I would say it's on PS Plus, I believe. I don't know if it's part of the subscription or if I claimed it. I think it's a subscription. You can check that out. Otherwise, it's not very expensive. And it's probably on sale because everything is on sale right now. But I would recommend that game. It's really, really a really neat concept, and it's pretty polished. I think it's pretty cool. And then I'm just fully addicted to Marvel Rivals. That's my most played game this month for sure. Grinding away ranked. It's extremely fun. Like disgustingly polished. That there's never been a PvP game that has launched as complete with this many bells and whistles, with zero issues, and this polished with this much. It's just absolutely insane. I just found out yesterday that you can go to the tournaments tab and look at professionals playing in the paid tournaments, click on a game, and just like watch the game that they played in the competitive tournament in the game client and control the camera and move it. Like, what?
Holy shit.
like this type of stuff is stuff that comes in like year 2 of like a
Yeah.
normal service game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it's free to play
Wow.
too. It's you don't even have to like Marvel. If they took the license away and replaced it with generic people that the company made up themselves, like Overwatch, it would be just as good. It doesn't. The Marvel license helps; it gets people in the door, but the game is amazing, in my opinion.
Who's your main?
I get forced to play tank a lot because my friends are like just damage all the time, which is a kind of
Wow.
annoying. But I've been playing Doctor Strange a lot. He's very strong. He's very, very overpowered as a tank for sure. If I get to not play tank and I get some freedom, I probably will play Peter Quill. I like Star-Lord a lot. He's really fun, and Punisher is really fun. A lot of the characters are really fun. I honestly don't really know anyone that I could say that's not fun.
Nice.
It's amazing. I was looking, currently 370,000 people on Steam playing this game. It's not even like all the other consoles it's on. And it's pretty amazing. I mean, the team behind this they did a long beta. I played in the beta and it was pretty impressive then. And what was it? The holiday mode with Jeff the Shark that looks like Splatoon.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. And getting something like that, like literally a
Week
month
2,
after it launches broadly.
Week 3, yeah. It came out
That's
December
great.
6th.
Crazy.
Literally like 2 weeks later, this happens.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Insane. And
awesome.
I love the reception of this. Like I downloaded a 3D print file for like the Moon Knight 2099 helmet that I really, really want to print from this game. It looks just sick. I need to get some more white filament before I attempt that one. But and I like so many people are realizing Jeff the Shark is fantastic and like asking when he's going to be in the MCU. And they responded of like, we don't know when, we don't know how, but like he will show up in the MCU. And it's like, this game is just crazy. Like the reach it has. And like for Marvel to respond of like, yeah, don't worry. Jeff's coming to the MCU. It's like, what the shit is this? Like what, how, what? You guys are so tight-lipped about everything, but you just leaked that Jeff the Shark's going to come out because this game is doing gangbusters. Like, holy crap.
I will say Jeff the Shark's ultimate is the worst part of the game.
I've heard he's
100%.
I've heard he's like knocking people off like levels and stuff like that. He
goes underground and makes this circle on the ground, and if you're on the circle, he comes up and like eats you. And the point of the ult is he just holds you for like 10 seconds or whatever, so that the rest of your team's vulnerable, and it's like supposed to kind of make it so it's an uneven fight. But what he does, or what players do, is they eat you and then jump off of the map and die and kill everyone inside Jeff. So he can just eat 4 people, kill them all by killing himself, and that's what they do every time.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's amazing. Like the sacrifice play.
Yeah.
I love it.
Very annoying.
Amazing. Amazing. I need to play more of this game. I've been so far basically been picking a different person each time I've played a match. I haven't made it through the full roster, so that'll show you how much I still have to play.
32.
But I've really liked like Moon Knight's really great. Venom, I really enjoyed. I didn't like Iron Man or Captain America as much as I thought. Punisher was fun. But yeah, there's still so many that I have to test out, including Jeff, for sure. Like I really need to make my way through the roster and put more time into this game, but indie keeps taking me away from it. So
skins are pretty dope too. I was looking at like, there's at least 3 skins. There's some free, and there's a couple others that are, and the base one doesn't even look horrible, which is, you know, if you played Marvel Avengers, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And they all have unique animations that play when you look at like,
that's awesome.
Like for example, the Hulk is like Diva from Overwatch. So when you're Bruce Banner, you just have a little gun or whatever, then you Hulk out and you get the more health and you're a tank. But then when he uses his ult, he turns into like Mega Hulk. And so it's 3 different models. And so there's a legendary skin for him where they update the model for Bruce Banner, they update the model for Hulk, and then they update the model for Ultimate Hulk. And they're all different models, and they all have unique animations, like these crazy videos that play every time it's just like the amount of polish it literally doesn't make sense. They must have like 2,000 or 3,000 employees. Like if this is the new standard, then other games are going to have a really hard time reaching it at launch.
You basically just have to hire this developer and say, I want one of those. Or can we just make it like the everybody's here, and like they just start bringing not just Marvel people. It's like everybody just shows up.
Yeah.
It's Smash Brothers
Yeah.
for this, because
Yeah.
that could be really great. Because I mean, do you really want to compete against this game? Overwatch right now isn't getting the heat that this is, and I mean the amount of people doing this game, that's amazing, and it's free to play. So and when Switch 2 comes out, it will be on Switch 2, I assume, and so then there's another group of people that can play this game. So
20 million people as of last week played. 20 million.
Holy shit. That's wild.
Yeah.
that is crazy. That's awesome. And if you're a comic book fan like me, they like Spider-Man literally has 85,000 costumes. So there will be no lack of content coming out, and they have 85,000 characters. So you'll get your deep cut character, especially as some of these new movies are coming out. So it's just, it's
Jeff the
never-ending.
Land Shark wearing a pool ring. I need that.
I think
They did all the
Doom-
Christmas costumes.
Dr. Doom and Fantastic Four is next, I think.
Okay.
Yep. Well, and did you see the Christmas costumes? It was like Groot as a Christmas
yeah.
tree,
Yeah.
which is great.
That was adorable. Yeah.
That's pretty
I
pretty
did
good.
see a leak
Yeah.
for Doctor Strange, the like the zombie one from Multiverse of Madness, like
That'd
the
be
one with
sick.
like all the hands and shit coming out of them. And
Yeah.
that one's gonna be crazy. If the
Well,
leak that I saw was true.
We're getting the Winter Soldier, or not? We're getting the next Captain America movie coming out very shortly.
Mhm.
We've got all of these what if, all the what if 3 seasons. There's going to be
Yeah.
variations of that. I'm sure we're going to get like a mode where it's like, oh, they're taking on the Marvel zombies, and then you get zombie variants of everybody. So
Yeah. It's honestly
when
crazy
Galactus
how many,
shows up,
Exactly. There's so many characters that are massive characters that are not even in the game. Like the runway they have is infinite.
I mean, Infinity Gems,
Mhm.
and they could even do a PVE mode, because like Overwatch did some like PVE events. They could do that,
Yep.
and people would just have a blast with that too.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's one thing I appreciate. It's like they took some swings that they didn't necessarily have to, like you said, like deep cut characters in this first
Squirrel Girl.
roster. Squirrel Girl, Magic, Jeff the Land Shark. Like there's people like
They made up some characters too. Yeah,
They-
there's some originals.
and they could have easily just tossed in like Daredevil's not in there. Like
None of the Fantastic Four.
there's Fantastic Four. Like there's so many characters that they could have tossed in that I think have more name and brand recognition than some of the characters they picked, but like also just has a lead up for like more seasons. Next season, here's Daredevil. Next season, here's this guy. Like it's wild. They're launching this in such a great way. It's so smart.
Yeah. I think it's going to help the MCU as well. And it like, just like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Without having a game for forever, the Avengers
Mhm.
just didn't work. And I mean, quite honestly, you've got Spider-Man occasionally coming out with a game, and then you've got, maybe that Captain America game is going to be good, but that's not coming out until maybe fall. So
Yeah.
they need something to really bring it home.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very cool. Killer Frequency
yeah.
game. I'm going to look into that.
If
That
you
sounds
like,
really cool.
technically, I guess it's a walking sim.
Sure.
But there's puzzles and it's full. Like anyway, I think it's awesome. And if it's on extra or whatever, which I think it is, it's definitely worth a download. It's pretty cool. Voice acting is also pretty funny. There's some cool jokes in
Oh,
there.
okay.
It's pretty good. I recommend it for sure.
Sweet.
Mark.
Yes, I have been playing. Well, Indiana Jones has really taken most of my time, so I won't rehash anything on that. The other game I've been playing, I actually did get this one from Barry over at Impact Game Station. He's been working with this developer, doing some promotional stuff for them. He has, if you want to check out this game, Impact Game Station on YouTube has so many videos and like release dates, teases, full videos, playthroughs, all that kind of stuff. This is Ironfall Invasion. So this was a 3DS game, kind of Gears of War inspired, I will say. There's, relies heavy on like covers, timed reloads. Like it steals a lot of that kind of stuff, but like was originally for 3DS. So like obviously nothing like Gears of War was on 3DS. And I thought it was really, really cool back when I played it on 3DS, and the Switch port is really good so far. I've put several hours into this thing. I really like the gameplay that goes between the Gears of War style grunt and then a smaller, more vulnerable female protagonist as well, who isn't this big bulky dude, so only kind of has a pistol, has to rely a little bit more on stealth. When she's making it through at least like the first level you play as her, a lot of like the power's gone off, so it's got a more Resident Evil vibe with like a flashlight and a pistol kind of thing, and you're working your way through things, trying not to get hit, detected, all that kind of stuff, and still take out some like robot aliens, which is a little tough. And I really like this for what it is. It is a $25 3DS port, so don't expect it to be like this is game of the year graphics. But yeah, it's so far really like a fun little action palette cleanser with, you know, like a goofy alien invasion military kind of like story wrapped around it. But like the set pieces are cool and varied. There's different like, you know, clear this room, you're going through a lab, you're going through a building, you're going through like a beach resort hotel kind of thing. And then a cave system. Like you're, you know, the environments are kind of like varied enough that it's keeping my interest anyway. So, when I want to not think about things and worry about stealth as much in Indiana Jones, I throw this on my Switch and I can just run through and shoot some stupid alien robots.
Yeah, there's no deep exploration of character.
No,
Just killing things.
not at all.
It.
Just kill the robots and have a good time doing it. You get a bunch of gun upgrades and stuff, so it's fun just kind of like quickly running through like assault rifle, then like a bot gun, a grenade launcher, a rocket launcher, and ammo's pretty plentiful. So like, don't worry about not using your rocket launcher except at boss fights. Just like let that bad boy fly. You're gonna get rockets in 2 seconds. Don't worry about it. So it's just a big, dumb, fun action game, and I very much enjoy it. And again, it's like it just launched a couple weeks ago, $25, possibly could be going on sale because, like Eric said, everything's going on sale.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that, but like, you know, easily kind of like worth that like $25. But like, you know, if you can get it on sale, get it on sale. But yeah, it's really cool. And again, if you want to see any gameplay of it, head over to Impact Game Station. I want to thank Barry for the code because he hooked me up with this one. But it's a very fun game. I didn't talk to the developer at all. This was just like a Barry being like, hey, mate, you play this game yet? No. All right, here, now play it. Let me know what you think, you know? So this wasn't like at all like the dev like hooking me up with something, expecting me to say something on the show. This is just my own little like palette cleanser of an action game. It's not super in depth, but like, and it's all voice acted and stuff. Like, it's not like a, you know, cheap kind of like.
Did they do that for the Switch version, or was there voices in the 3DS version?
I think there were voices in the 3DS version, but it's been a long time since I played it, so I can't remember offhand. But it doesn't look like great. A 3DS game. I'm impressed with how much they've like visually upgraded it. Like it's still, you know, it's not going to win like Game of the Year graphics awards, but like it's not like you're looking at it going like, ooh, that's some muddy 3DS textures. You know what I mean? Like they've found like a good balance for what the game is and what you would expect, I think, at that price point.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I've seen some of so there's been a couple of 3DS remakes, remasters, or whatever that went to the Switch, and they've looked good. So I'm guessing the assets were just higher than the 3DS resolution allowed, and they were able to really, really just bring them to modern hardware. With obviously, 3DS was probably not great for shooting games because the weird, you had to get the boat or you had to use the pencil rubber eraser for a second screen. I mean, I'm glad that these games are finding a new home.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I have nothing else to say about Indiana Jones. I'm just glad I found my way into the game, which is great. So, folks, big call out to play easy, if they get you to play the game. That's how I played Horizon Zero Dawn. I just played on story mode. I thoroughly enjoyed the story. Didn't love the gameplay, and that got me through it. So I think play how you want to play. Don't worry about being called a noob. I know I'm a noob, so it doesn't bother me. But I'm glad I'm finding the fun now. But Dragon Age, I've got about 65 hours into this game. I am not a person that typically does that. Loving the game to pieces. I'm finishing up all the little bits and bobs I need to, specifically for my relationships with my characters, which is great. I've had some really cool things happen, which I really love. I lost one of my favorite characters in the game. He's really amazing. All I will say is Manfred is one of my favorite characters of the year. He's an NPC kind of character, but he's so amazing. A gentleman skeleton. Love him to pieces. He's adorable. But we lost him along the way. You may not lose him, so make a good choice, folks. And this game's all about choices. I know I'm making some choices I'll regret, which I love. Your characters let you know, approved, disapproved. And this game is making me feel that the next Mass Effect game is in good hands. Game is giving me totally Mass Effect 2 vibes in regards to all the relationship with your characters. You have like loyalty missions and things like that, which I absolutely love. The romancing elements there. I have not been confronted for potentially trying to romance two people at the same time, which makes me feel good and bad at the same time because I kind of feel guilty, but it's going pretty well. And I'm at that point now where I get the thing that says, this is your last, basically, if you start this mission, you can't go back. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. So I'm wrapping things up, and I've got to the point where I'm going to do that. So like I said, I'm very at the end of Dragon Age. Love the game. So glad I played this game. Did not expect to play this game at the beginning of the year. So totally in. So if you're interested in a game that is more action RPG than really deep, dark RPG, I think you'll enjoy it. Last thing that I want to call, actually two things. One really quick. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, if you remember that game that came out 5 years ago, Mark, I think somebody bought like the collector's edition. They had like they had like infinity balls, and the people got mad about the collector's not being great. The game was not reviewed well. The costumes people didn't love. It was definitely a departure from MVC3. Well, apparently these people that are really passionate for this game have made a mod called And Beyond. So the mod is free, and it's amazing what they did. Basically, they have changed the art. They added new visuals, game modes, music, and balancing. The game is this is only on PC, so I went on Steam for like $6. So I'm also going to install it. But this is amazing because I like the game. I just knew it had some problems. So I'm excited that people are actually doing this. The world of PC is great because you can do amazing things. And it's great that they're not being stopped from doing this. But this then led me down the path of, by the way, if you're playing Marvel Rivals on Steam, there are already mods. And you can play as Vegeta in Marvel Rivals.
Oh my God.
Which is just crazy. It's crazy. So you can mod it. So the wild,
Interesting.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's there. But lastly, I wanted to touch on Secret Level. Have either of you watched any of it so far?
Started the first episode and had to stop because Finn came back downstairs. I wasn't sure if it was child appropriate, so I was like, hey, I'm just going to shut this off. Crap.
Which one was that? Do you remember?
I can't remember offhand.
Okay.
Dungeons and Dragons?
Eric, have you seen any?
It
was Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons, yeah.
I haven't. I want to. I was debating on getting a new TV for myself for Christmas, and if I did that, I wanted to wait to watch it on there because I know it's going to look like insane. I ended up getting a PSVR 2 instead of a TV, so probably just start it soon. Probably after Christmas though. I got my Christmas Eve movie picked up. I'm going to watch Venom: Last Dance 4K.
Oh, nothing will bring the family together more than Venom: The Last Dance.
Only me. My family will be asleep, so it's just me.
Oh, there you go. See, you don't have to worry about it.
I just watched it like a couple of nights ago. Same kind of thing. My family was asleep. I was like, hey, it's Venom time. Let's go.
Yeah. It's time to get Venomized. Yeah. It's
I'm
time
not
to go.
expecting it to be the best movie ever, but I actually watched, because this has been something I've been doing for a long time. I think it was like the second or third movie I ever watched on Christmas Eve at home instead of the theater was the first Venom. So,
okay.
We're full circle now. Let's go.
Nice. I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm not going to say any spoilers. Watch it.
Yes, it's a Venom movie. I mean,
Yeah,
It's not Shakespeare.
that's it. Yeah.
But I will probably hit
there-
on secret level really soon.
Oh, very cool. Well, the cool part about it is like these episodes are anywhere between 9 and 15 minutes long. So it's like
Okay.
even then it's just very deep. It's very much all these different franchises are getting their day in the sun. Even Concord got their day in the sun on this, which is so weird. The show
Strange,
has
yeah.
been renewed for a second season, which is kind of cool, which means it's doing well. These guys did Love and Robots. Is that the name of the series they did?
Yeah.
So they're well known for doing quality animation, and some of it's hit and miss, but I mean you'll get there. So I've only watched one so far, and it's the Pac-Man one. It will, if you have not, this one will be like, holy crap, I can't believe they did this. This is amazing, but it's not kid friendly at all. I'm like, they took Pac-Man in a place I never thought they did, and I was just like, this is amazing.
I think it's Blur Studios that does this, right?
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah, so they did
So-
like the cutscenes for Halo 2 anniversary. Like they've been,
Yeah.
they're been,
People wanted them to do like a full-on movie, which I would hope eventually they would do just a full-on movie, but
I think it's like $100,000 a second of footage is what they charge or something like that.
but it looks so good. Looks so good. Like I think I've said this. One of my favorite cutscenes of all time is the Old Republic. Some of those cutscenes for Star Wars are amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want that movie. It looks so incredible. But yes, ridiculously expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody
the
else
Blizzard films.
instantly go to Cards Against Humanity when Todd said they got Pac-Man doing some stuff I never expected? Anyone? No? I'm alone with that. All right, cool.
Well, there you go, Mark. You'll see what I believe in when you get to the episode. But yeah, make sure Finn's asleep, or it won't be sleeping much longer. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Well, that's what I've been gaming. Before we go, we've got a question. This is Brian Rand back again. This is part of the Carden family, part of our Patreon subscriber family. He says, as far as questions, I would say I want your opinions on the Game Awards. I haven't played Astrobot, but my view of gameplay didn't inspire me to think it was GOTY material. I think Wukong was just better. But I suppose now with the way the gaming industry is, what does GOTY mean anymore? I'm thinking like a Rockstar game, GTA 5 or 6, will almost win GTA GOTY, and probably for good reason, but that's 10 years between releases, and I don't think we hit that level of games every year, especially in single-player campaign games. So, yes, Astrobot won, but if you go across all the different game publications, you're hearing Black Myth Wukong, you're hearing Metaphor Refantasio, I think... Indiana Jones won Xbox Game of the Year for IGN, but I'm trying to think, are there any others that you're hearing that have won from other publications Game of the Year?
I've been hearing Astrobot winning a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could see, I don't know if you're done yet. I was about to start going.
No, I'm just trying to think of like the Game of the Years. He mentioned Astrobot. I'm like, well, is anybody here of any? But beyond that, so if that's what we've got for this year, unless there's any other surprises, what do you guys think of like the Game of the Year? I mean, do you think every year has a Game of the Year, or is it like every year has a game that was probably the best of the games?
I mean, I think every year has the Game of the Year for sure. I don't think Astrobot should be the Game of the Year personally. I think that there's the Game Awards. I don't think should be the kind of definitive Game of the Year because of how the voting works, and like how it gets chosen. There was on the Season Gaming Bitcast. I'm not on that show, but the other people are. I listened to it, and Hogue, who had some really awesome ideas for it, and Travis, who's actually on the panel, were talking about it. Travis said something along the lines of, I believe that a lot of people had Astrobot at 1 for sure. A lot of people had Astrobot at 2, but a lot of people were flipping between Rebirth and Metaphor. And so those sometimes that was 1, other times it was 3, and Astrobot was 2 a lot of the time. So like the way the weighting works and like that, it's just really weird. And Hogue suggested that there should be some sort of panel similar to how movies are kind of awarded, where you have people that have played every game, because not everyone that votes has played every game. And then you can get more of a technical award, but that's just not what this is. It's kind of like of all the games you played, voter, which may or may not be these games that are nominated for Game of the Year, which one do you like the best? It doesn't have to be which one is the best. It's which one did you like the best? Which one did you emotionally respond to the most positively? Which one do you have the most best memories of? Astrobot was in a really good sweet spot where it was close enough to the awards where it's right here, but not too close where you didn't finish it yet. And it's not a long game either. So I think they had a lot of stuff going for it, and it's definitely deserved to be nominated, which means it deserves to win in some degree. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really fun show. I think it's fun to see a game like Astrobot get such a spotlight shine on it because it's a genre that's underrepresented. Is it the best game that came out this year? Probably not.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I'll be upfront. I did not watch a single second of the Game Awards. I saw a few of the trailers, but we talked about this before we started recording that I kind of skipped it this year. I meant to get back to it and I just didn't. But hearing Astrobot win, like Eric said, it's unexpected for a platformer to kind of win Game of the Year. So I kind of like that it did. I haven't played Astrobot. I don't own a PlayStation 5. But like my 4-year-old is obsessed with Astrobot YouTube videos. So I've seen enough of it that I know that it looks like a super high quality game that absolutely celebrates every single second of PlayStation history. And I appreciate the game for that celebration, super tight action, platforming, adventure stuff, being accessible seemingly to all ages. So I think the Game of the Year, it depends on what kind of pedigree you're holding that to. If you're if you think Game of the Year as the same kind of pedigree as like a movie of the year, like, the Oscar for best picture kind of thing, like you're probably thinking more something like, Black Myth, like Wukong. That's something of a higher elevated, more difficult, more pristine kind of thing. Like this would be like, Minions winning, like the Oscar for best picture or something like that. But I think games need to be looked at in a slightly different way, or can be looked at in a slightly different way. And I think this is why it's great to have a bunch of different websites and a bunch of different podcasts and a bunch of different things give their takes on Game of the Year. Because you can always find someone that looks at games the same way you do. The Game Awards is kind of like the big blingy award show, televised or streamed kind of thing. And for better or worse, because like you said, Eric, like the way they break things down, the way they pick things, the way things are presented, the way that they'll play favorites with things, the way, like, even the way, I mean, I skipped this year because of the way that the whole award show goes. A lot of the times I find it's so much full of like, well, that didn't need this much time, or they could have skipped part of that, or like that one particular person didn't need a spotlight that long when they haven't released a game this year, but Jeff Keighley knows them personally, so here they are. Like it's that kind of stuff, but like it's not the definitive Game of the Year. If you like IGN's take on things, then that's your Game of the Year. They just don't do a big show and dance kind of thing. You just read about it instead, or maybe watch a quick YouTube video where they're like, hey, this is our Game of the Year. Thanks for watching IGN. Haha. Here's an ad. But yeah, so it's tough, but like for me, Astrobot was definitely more viewed in my house, even though I don't have PlayStation 5. It was definitely the game that got the most attention, even though we didn't play it. Like my son wants me to buy a PlayStation 5 for Astrobot. That's saying something. Even though he's 4, like he knows a quality kind of game when he sees it, and knows something that would appeal to a lot of people. So I understand the thinking. Do I agree with it? Not necessarily, but like I get it, from that kind of standpoint.
if I've looked at what the Game Awards have done throughout the years, it's hard to get a gauge on what will win, to be honest. When I looked at this, one of the ones that really stands out to me is It Takes Two. That one in 2021. A game that was a co-op kind of goofy game with, you could only play it co-op, and it had themes of divorce. So, I mean, and it's very kooky and animated oddly. That went up against Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil Village, Psychonauts 2, Metroid Dread, and Deathloop. So, but you didn't, I would say that year you didn't have like a very much like overwhelming like dramatic type of game where it was like, oh, I could see that's the critical darling because of that. And I mean, and then last year you had Baldur's Gate 3, a game where that was a critically acclaimed darling. And it did find a lot of new audiences, but that was a traditional computer RPG, point and click that found its way with other places versus, a Zelda game, an Alan Wake 2, Resident Evil 4, a Mario game. So it's always hard to gauge, so when I looked at what wins, it doesn't seem like this is the game that's always going to win because it can vary. I mean, I even think of like Sekiro won Game of the Year versus Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Outer Worlds, games like that, Smash Brothers. So, and some people would say Sekiro is like such an extremely hard game that it's going to be very focused on a certain audience. So, yeah, it's hard to tell. But when I think of Astrobot, and I'm still coming up with what my game will be. How many third-person action platformers can do what Nintendo does at the level Nintendo does?
None.
In all the years we've been doing this. So I would say Astrobot is getting acclaimed for levels. So I would say some people say, oh, it's just that. I'm like, if it was that easier, wouldn't we have ones every year? Look what Sonic's been trying to do all these years.
I mean, I really like Psychonauts 2. I will say I really like
No, it's a great game. I love Psychonauts 2. Actually, I didn't love the first one that much. I loved what they did. Second one, I really loved a lot. And I thought that was a great game. I loved the writing. They hit some great notes. So I would not have been unhappy if that game won.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, so a lot of the words, and a lot of people wanted Balatro to win. Balatro is a poker game. It's still poker. It's not like I came up with a new game. It's what is that one Star Wars game they play?
Sabacc?
Sabacc,
yeah. It's not Sabacc. I mean, it's not like somebody created a game out of the blue. It wasn't like, what was the other? The Witcher had a game too. I mean, there's a wide list of games here that are for everybody. And you've got JRPGs, you've got so I don't know. I'm assuming there's 15 other games that got lost that weren't even nominated. So it's one of the things people said. The game of the year is like porn. You know it when you see it. So I mean, that's the hard part. It's like, I don't know, but I thoroughly loved Astrobot. Balatro, I know what it is, and I've enjoyed playing it, but I can't speak to the other four. So, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, Astrobot was just a nostalgia play. I'm like, the nostalgia parts were fun. It was great, but I didn't play it for that. I wouldn't have kept coming back. It's like, oh, it's member berries. It's really amazing that they were able to do that. What I liked is where they recreated levels from a game. They said, you're going to do this as Astrobot, and they played around with it. I'm like, that's really ingenuity. And every level had unique music, and it was great soundtrack. So I thought it was a great game. But yeah, I totally get why people would not agree, because maybe that's not their cup of tea, or they feel like a 3D action platformer just isn't worth discussing in the same verbiage as other games. So I don't know.
Yeah, but that's it. What defines a game, right? Like, it can be. I mean, we're seeing Balatro. Vampire Survivors is another great one. Like, that will run on anything. That will run on a phone, an Xbox, a Switch. It doesn't matter. And I've played it in every single iteration.
I could have won last year, right?
I mean, and fantastic game. And that's going up against, that's one guy that used to be like a casino slot developer and was like, hey, I can make a video game that flashes and goes off like a casino, and it's Castlevania inspired, and yay. And it's just amazing. But then that can go up against a game that has 10,000 people working on every aspect of it and cost $1 billion to make. And it's like, how the hell are these two vastly different games even remotely considered for the same award? It's like, it feels like someone shooting a movie in portrait mode on an iPhone 4 versus like a Scorsese picture, and they're both being talked about for like the movie of the year. Like it is very strange. Like video games in general are very strange because there's no like we'd almost have to separate it of like, AAA game of the year to like indie. But like I kind of like that everything's just thrown in there, and it's like, hey, here's a game about whatever, like a talking toaster that has feelings about his parents getting divorced or something, like, versus like, okay, never mind, here's a realistic like universe sim that took 50 years to develop and uses like the best technology in the world. It's like, how are these both considered, in the same sentence? Like it's wild. Video games make no sense.
And how does like Call of Duty never win a game of the year? I mean, considering how epic it is and how much it does every year. Certain games just are huge and they're always part of something. And it made me laugh this year. The biggest game of the year to date is college football, and didn't even get nominated for best sports game.
Yeah.
Because college football is not big anywhere else in the world. And this is a global nominated event, and so you do have a lot of people that voted for Wukong because Wukong was huge in China this year. So we're just gonna have to realize that we got to get out of our own world and play some new games. My son might play that game, and I'll look at it. I'm like, I don't even know how to play that game. It hurts my fingers just looking at it. But
yeah, it's weird.
Okay, well, before we get into the bonus round and wrap the show up, we got to listen to this ad and pay some bills. Unless you're a Patreon, and you don't have to listen. So we now go to the bonus round. At this point, we're talking about holidays. And you know what? I know we don't like to talk about it. Well, we all like gifts. To give and to receive. And I can't speak too loudly because my son is right next to me. So we will not talk about what he's getting this year. But you never know. He's 19 years old. So he knows that Santa is probably delayed this year. Until he goes to sleep. But with that, we asked our friends, what do you want to give and receive for the holidays this year? And this could be broad. As Mark always says, I have to define my category. It could be, what do you want to give the gaming community or the world of games as a gift to make the world a better place?
Okay.
If you want. Or it could just be exclusively, what do you want to give and what do you want to receive to your friends and whatever. So with that, Chris Berto says, I have a list of games I've missed from the year, but primarily I'd love to receive Astrobot, Metaphor, Fantasio, or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. All good picks, Chris. We hope you get some of those in your Santa stocking this year. And because I think you've been a good boy, although your lack of happiness about eggnog, Santa Claus would probably disagree with you too.
Knocked down to the naughty list, bud. So you're getting Yoda stories for the Game Boy Color.
Oh my God. Gotta love it. Okay. Eric, what would you like to give this year in the world of video games?
Give to the world of video games?
To someone, if you'd like, this is a game that everyone should play. My gift is I'm giving it to everybody. Or I want to make sure that developers get a pat on the back. Anything you want it to be. Or I want to give my significant other, my child, my parents something game related so they can enjoy games with me.
I always wanted to do video essay style things that celebrate underappreciated games. And I hopefully will be able to give one of those this year, but not really tomorrow or in 2 days because they take a lot of effort to produce. Maybe I'll be more realistic and say I would like to give my daughter mostly me a PSVR 2, which I have done. Sorry, just chucked a knife. It's
what?
That's safe.
I was playing with this anyway. I would like to give her a PSVR 2. I hope she can't hear me. I think she's sleeping. Hopefully she's sleeping. It's almost midnight. Because she really likes, actually, the PSVR 1 is what we play, and she played Astrobot, and that's why she's so obsessed with Astrobot from that, which this is maybe a hot take. I think the PSVR 1 Astrobot is a better game than Astrobot PS5. Both are great. I don't think Astrobot PS5 is bad. Like I said, deserves to be nominated. I understand why it won. great game. But the VR Astrobot is exceptional. That is when I first played that. That's when I had the epiphany. Like, this is Nintendo level, better than Nintendo. I think it's better than Mario Odyssey.
It's a crime that game is stuck on PSVR.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is
with that bad boy,
it doesn't use any tracking. So the worst part of PSVR 1 is it has light-based tracking. So other than tracking what you're looking at, which it does okay at, you don't have to use like the wands or anything. You play with a DualSense, so it's pretty. Anyway, 100% recommend. They need to port that somehow. So yeah, I would like to give that.
Nice.
PSVR 2. My friend has PSVR 2. This is friend Sean Nias. I played it once. We were playing the Madden game or the NFL game. I almost broke my toe because I thought it was actually moving to catch a pass. Todd was an idiot.
I have it. It's under the tree right now, but I told my girlfriend I had
try
to
it out,
test it and
set it
up, aka play it all night last night to the point where I'm like can't even walk anymore from all the squats I did in Synth Riders and in Pistol Whip. But it does a great job of mapping the room. But when you're playing Pistol Whip and you're just like John Wicking like crazy, definitely smashed into the wall a couple times because this room is relatively small. The room was like when you I don't know if you've ever set up a PSVR. So like you paint the floor and you like paint all your floor, and I painted all of my available area, and then I hit submit and it's like, this room is too small to have room scale, so we're going to disable that from all games. And I was like, let's remeasure, and I just painted like my couch and I painted like my shelf, and I was like, this is all stuff I can. Trust me, this room's huge, man. And so that's why I was running into stuff. Should have listened to the warning. But I loved it last night. It was really fun. I can't wait for Christmas.
Don't step on your cat, please. Yeah.
I had to lock him out.
Animals are tough ones when they come into the room. My dog at one point, I'm playing with Quest and I'm like, oh, there's a dog there. Crap. Don't want to kick the dog, kick the dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's very nice of you. There's some good games on PSVR too.
Yeah, there's a lot of them on premium too. Like I already have a pretty solid library just from that, which is really nice.
Yeah, if you don't claim those games every month, you're just being a fool. Just claim them.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump in next, like, because I now that you said like give something to like the gaming community kind of thing, like that's got me thinking. But like Finn wanted some like gaming related stuff, and one of them he keeps changing his answer for, so I don't know. That one's going to be from like, mom and dad kind of thing, so we'll see like how good Santa is to the little bugger. Hint, it's going to be good. But he keeps changing. He wants he flips between Kirby Fighters. He's a very Kirby centric Christmas kid this year. Kirby Fighters, Kirby what's the cake one, like your race and stuff?
Buffet.
It's like
Delicious Course,
Delicious Course or whatever it is. And then Kirby. Oh, what's the other one he wants? There's like 3 different Kirby games that he wants.
All Stars, Forgotten Land.
All Stars, yeah, Kirby All Stars. And he keeps flipping back and forth. So I thought I was like locked in with which one, and then he changed it again tonight to the cake one, which is the first time he mentioned that one ever. So I want him to give a gift to me of like picking a definitive Kirby game that the little bugger wants me to
tell him like Santa has a deadline.
This one's going to be from me. This one's not like a Santa. So I have to be just like, Finn, pick a game and we're going to buy it right now. So that'll be that'll be how that one goes.
I think the cake one's a budget title, so maybe you should.
It's like $15.
And Kirby Fighters is like 20, 25 or something like that too. So if he picks one of those, I might get both. And then the other one, the Kirby Star Allies or whatever the other one is, if he picks that one, then that'll be probably the solo game. So we'll see how that all plays out. But Todd, because you threw out give a gift to the gaming community, and because we mentioned Marathon and Apple and stuff, I'm still in a mindset of thinking about that. And then you mentioned like Balatro and everything, and I was thinking about Apple Arcade. I'm going to give a gift to Apple in this one and just give them a business plan of a new Apple TV 4K with an M series chip in it that comes bundled with a controller. You have a gaming service, the M chip, even the M1, like the older M chip, like we're on M4 now, but even an M1 can run like the Resident Evil games, can run like a ton of like actual console PC quality games. Fine. And then you have Apple Arcade just built in. Bundle that thing with a controller, partner up with Xbox or PlayStation, I don't care, or at a third party, something 8BitDo, whoever, and just have it all in one box and call it the Apple TV gaming bundle and just like make money. It's so easy.
I wonder how that Fire Stick Xbox controller bundle sold.
I did it. I got the cipher, the blue cipher with the stick. It was like $80. I'm like, of course I'll do that because it's like I think this was like $65 when it came out originally, and I got it ended up being only 50 with the stick.
Yeah, and it's like the
worked
higher
pretty
end
well.
stick too, right?
It's the Max, I think. Is that the one? Yeah,
So,
yeah. Like the current Apple TV 4K is great for like Apple TV or Apple Arcade games. Like Sonic Racing, the old like Sonic games, like Cut the Rope, all that kind of stuff. There's a couple of different games that like Finn has really enjoyed playing on that one. The Ninja Turtles game, the Splintered Fate or whatever it was called. Like there's games that work really well on that thing. You give that thing a tiny bit more juice and bundle it with a controller so people know that it works with a controller instead of being like, yeah, it's buried in the settings that you can hook up an Xbox or PlayStation controller with this thing. Like, make it simple. Like Apple makes everything else that they sell except the freaking Apple TV. And it just seems like such a no-brainer. So Merry Christmas, Apple. Here's a plan to make more money because they need it, of course.
I mean, hell, couldn't they just sell the Mac Mini? I mean, and make it your media
For real
device?
though, yeah.
And,
Yeah, sure.
And that could play
everything.
Of games, and that
yeah.
And they've got games coming out for the Mac. So yeah, I think Apple's just really missing a huge opportunity. But they stumble into game and do well with gaming despite not caring about gaming. So
yeah, it's so weird.
so weird. Aloof. Yeah.
Yeah. Like pre-order, like right now, if you go on the Mac App Store, like pre-order Control, the Ultimate Edition right now. Like there's games that they're showcasing in the Mac App Store that are like, hey, here's console quality games that run really well on the Mac. Stray, Grizz, like Civilization, like all that kind of stuff is just like right there. And they're just like, but we're not really going to.
No, buy a phone that's $1,100 to play Resident Evil 7. Like, which then why? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants to do that? Yeah. I love that, Mark.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Todd?
Okay, so what would I give? So I'm giving 2 gifts this year. It is because the Switch 2 is coming out. So I'm giving Nintendo the gift of free money. And that is making sure the Switch 2 has Pro Controller Joy-Cons that are actually the size of human hands, have real sticks, real buttons that other third-party developers have already done, and I just think Nintendo should do that. If anybody really plays with the stick sideways and gets carpal tunnel with baby hands, really? I mean, that really what we're doing? But that's what I'm saying. That's my gift to them. Do it. You'll make money, Nintendo. Thank me later.
Today's rumor is that the Switch 2 does have Hall effect joysticks. So
correct. Yeah. They finally will fix. Although the fact that they're using magnets to connect from what I heard, I think Hall effects uses magnets. So that just seems like magnets upon magnets. Is that just a bad idea?
I don't like the idea of magnet rails, but I feel like everyone's praising it as a good thing. But
I don't get that one either.
Switch, I feel like I'm putting pressure from my palm on it.
That's the new gimmick, though. They're like, well, we got to do something different. Well, instead of sliding, you're snapping.
It was the same rumor with Apple Watches this year, and like this isn't a new Apple Watch, but like I can't imagine because like they pitch this thing so much as like, you can swim with this, you can dive with this, you can do a ton of stuff, and you don't have to worry about your Apple Watch. But there was rumors that they're going to change like the strap thing with magnets, and it's like, is that the strongest GD magnet in the world? Because how am I supposed to confidently dive in the water or do any kind of water sports or activities with something that's held on by a magnet? Unless it's like a superconductor magnet that I'm never, ever going to get off. Like, don't replace something that's secure with a freaking magnet.
I like the rails. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get instead of a that, you're going to get a smack.
I think you're going to get
all their videos for the Switch too.
I think you're going to mess up in Zelda, get mad, squeeze the Joy-Cons in frustration. They're going to undo, and then your Switch is going to fall to the floor.
It's going to break.
Yeah. 100%.
You love it.
Yeah. Unless they have like wrist straps that attach to the tablet, and then it falls and just hangs there.
Yes.
Yeah. But I do like that.
Well, every generation of Nintendo, they do something that will eventually destroy their gadget. It'll be like something we're going to fix in the next version of it because we like money. So, yeah.
Make sure you wear your Joy-Con straps and your Switch 2 straps securely when you're playing this game.
Oh, that reminds me. I just bought these cool straps for my Quest 3S controllers, Mark. They're pretty cool. They snap that. No, I'll talk about it later.
All right, yeah. Send me a picture.
Yeah,
or a link.
They're pretty cool. They were super cheap, really easy. Let's see. So that would give that to Nintendo, and then to the world of gamers, I would give a less crazy game schedule, meaning we will not put 85,000 games in every month and then have some months that have absolutely nothing. We're adults. Adults buy games. We have limited time. Do not make us pick and choose.
And
like, I think February this year, exactly. We have limited money, but we have to make choices. And like right now, I'm like, I got all these games to play. I would just ask give the gift of time to players and put your games out so every game gets a chance to succeed versus fight each other, because that always happens and it's very frustrating. So
just put
that's my
gift
to everyone.
Man.
More time.
Second week of February, launch everything.
Oh, absolutely. Perfect. Yeah. It's like January in gaming. Nothing's coming out. Why? I have money to spend. I've got time. I don't know. Well, yeah. Oh, well. That's what I would give. Time, which we all need for every game to succeed. So, what would you like to receive, Eric?
I have a predicament. I am a huge fan of being surprised for what my Christmas gift is. So when like my girlfriend asks me what I want, I don't tell her because I want to be surprised. But also, I very much want Black Myth Wukong physical. So I put it at the very top of my wish list. I have like basically like neon signs pointing at it without me actually saying that this is what I want. So I need her to read the room and buy me Black Myth Wukong physical, please.
So you're playing it on PS5?
That. Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm like, it's not on Xbox yet, and I think you can't get any physical games on Steam. It just does. That's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't get it at launch because I was waiting for Xbox, and then Xbox just is like, we probably won't ever have this. I mean, if we do, it's probably going to be digital only. And then we're probably not going to have a lot of games going forward because I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, I decided like if it does come to Xbox, which I assume it will, maybe it launches on Game Pass, so which I wouldn't necessarily need to buy it there if that was the case. But also there is a very slim chance that a physical version comes out on Xbox because like Death Stranding just came on Xbox, digital only. Xbox, their own games most of the time, digital only. Yeah, so I want it on my shelf. And I did everything I could without actually asking for it. So we'll see. Tune in to after post Christmas, and we'll see.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying I want to be surprised, but please look at all my hints I'm giving you.
Surprise me with this specific thing.
And if I get it, it will be a surprise because I have no faith that this has happened before, and it just never worked out. But we'll see.
You wanted the game with the monkey guy? I got you what's that Dragon Ball Z fighting game? He turns into a monkey, right?
Oh my god, don't say that.
Did I curse it?
If I get Barking Zero, I will be very surprised.
It's a physical copy of Ape Escape for PlayStation 1.
There you go. Yeah.
Exactly what
Monkey
you
Ball. No, Monkey Ball Delight, or whatever the new Monkey Ball game is. That's what you got.
Banana Mania.
Yes.
Banana Mania. Love it. Okay, Mark, what do you want to receive?
What
Share?
Wind Waker on Switch. Or Switch 2, or like both. Like, let me play that freaking game again. Just that's
But you don't got
like,
a Wii
if
U?
you want it. What?
You don't got
I
a
have
Wii
a Wii U. It's still hooked up. I know it's still hooked up. I don't even know why I'm complaining about this, but I just want the convenience of being able to play the dumb thing on Switch. And my wife really wants to play Twilight Princess. So if they wanted to bundle those, that'd be like the gift of a century, but I'll pay full price for both. I don't even care. I'm stupid like that. So that's what I want.
So you want Nintendo to give you? You want Nintendo to make them give you more money.
I want Nintendo to make more money off of me. Yeah, that's
okay.
I would buy them too.
I love that.
Nintendo.
I love
Right.
that.
Listening.
Yeah, because it is funny how it works that way. It's kind of like, well, like Xbox said when they had the 360. Well, if you want to play a game with system not online, we have a system for you. Mark, Nintendo's saying the same thing. Eric makes a good point. We have a system for you to play that might not work anymore because it might have got bricked because you haven't played it in 5 months. So check it, please.
No, I had the Wii U was on only a couple weeks ago. It still works. It's still fine. I can absolutely play this game if I choose to. It's upstairs. I could technically move it downstairs.
How are you going to play Kirby's Canvas Cursor? What's the game?
Yeah. Well, we had the Rainbow Curse or whatever.
The Rainbow Curse, where you drew the pathways. That was a fun game.
Yeah, we had that on a 3DS or whatever it was.
Oh, it
on
did?
The 3DS.
Okay.
That one. That one worked. It got Finn's Kirby obsession sated for a minute, and I didn't have to break out the Wii U.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So Mark wants games that he already owns. Good to know.
I'm not super hard to please.
No, you
Also,
aren't.
I want to finish
No, you
my
aren't.
Pokemon tattoo. Is that another one?
Okay.
Can I do
No,
that?
that works. That
Add
works.
the Game
Absolutely.
Boy down there. Okay.
That works. That works. Okay. So what would I like to receive? So I've got two. So this may actually happen. I would like to receive an arcade cabinet. I've got this amazing gamer legend. Like, I will show you. Show and tell, folks.
Show and tell.
Hopefully, don't break anything along the way. We got this bad boy.
Ooh.
It's got a trackball. It's got like full things.
Everything.
It's great, and it has a thing you can play on a TV, but it just doesn't seem the same. So I want a cabinet. So my friend, he got one built. He's going to hopefully help me put it together, and it'll be amazing. I love arcade games. So that's what I would like to receive for one thing. But Todd asked something that, I like to, whatever I receive, I like to share. So, Capcom was pretty good this year. They brought back Okami. They are bringing back Onimusha. They made my heart's desire. This was Todd's Game Awards.
Yep.
The game they didn't bring back, very disappointed.
Maximo?
Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe. All right.
Eric, yours making it even worse. Maximo's waiting there. The army is sleeping. They need to get woken up. It is Beautiful Joe. He needs to come back. So I would take just a Beautiful Joe collection, like the 2 games, and there was like a DS game. Just start there. Just give me a collection of that. I'd be happy. Everybody else, because I think there's a lot of people that just don't even know what the hell Beautiful Joe, and they're like, what is this guy? Henshin a Go-Go, all the weird things. Weird art style.
What if they did a remaster for PS4?
Just for PS4? It's only going there.
Well, what would you say if they did that? Beautiful Joe.
Yeah, actually,
HD PS4. What would you do?
Yes.
1 sec.
What? What are you talking?
Up.
Did they really do this?
What?
I've never heard of this. Mark, am I being gaslit?
I don't know. I did not know they re-released those games. He's actually grabbing this. I have no, he's going to get something. Either he's going to punk us or.
What is this? What is Eric doing?
All right, I got some bad news.
Serious right now. Okay.
I confused Beautiful Joe with I confused Beautiful Joe with Wonderful 101.
Oh, okay.
They're not
Wonderful
the same
101.
thing.
Got it.
Yes.
So
Another
carry on, sorry.
Wii U exclusive at one
It's-
point. Yes.
Wii U exclusive.
But you're
It is now
absolutely
on
right.
Switch, PlayStation. Yeah,
Not even.
But Beautiful Joe is in Wonderful 101, right?
He is in Wonderful 101.
Because I own that game too.
Okay, so I'm not
So
feeling
you're
as
not.
bad then.
Yeah,
You're not off.
100% off. That could even be. I don't know if that game sold super, super well. So I would even bundle that in with the Beautiful Joe game.
It's like all the Beautiful Joe appearances.
Yeah, like why not have Beautiful Joe 1 and 2, the game or the DS game, and then Wonderful 101? Because like you're not selling any of those games, so you do like a wonderful, beautiful bundle, and like give them some love.
So if I remember this right, Clover Studios, who did Okami, did they also do? Oh, they did. So this is the thing. So that studio is back at Capcom. The head of that is back making Okami. He also created Beautiful Joe. So it's all coming up, Todd.
Hell yeah.
This is going to have to happen. He also made God Hand, which that's a weird game on PlayStation 2. Don't do that. But yeah, I think the only game that Capcom has to bring back that they just choose not to is Dino Crisis. Which they made that weird like dinosaur games up. Dinosaurs were coming from the sky. You had to kill them all.
Exoprimal.
Yeah, Exoprimal.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. So yeah, so that would be my gift to everyone. It would be for me first, but I would share is Beautiful Joe coming back. Come on, Beautiful Joe. It's time to go.
Dino Crisis would be sick in VR.
Oh, it'd be crazy. Be so crazy with
The
this
scale,
technology they've got now.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So good. So
Yeah.
good. All right. Well, we have been good boys, I think, this year. So hopefully we do get to give and receive all the things we've asked for this year. But you know what? We obviously are very thankful, and we'd like to receive more followers, more people that listen to this show, and we'd like to continue to give awesome content to everyone who listens to this and have awesome guests like Eric. So Eric, thank you for joining. How can people find you around the interwebs?
Yeah, thanks for having me first and foremost. You can find me over at Season Gaming. I do some writing over there along with a bunch of other really talented people, way more talented than me, probably, if you read anything that I wrote. You can also find me over on YouTube at Gamepositive YT. Same thing on Twitter. I honestly don't even know what my Blue Sky is, even though that's what I primarily use now. If I had to guess, it's probably my first and last name, Eric Byzantin, but I honestly don't remember. Sorry. Sorry. But yeah, Blue Sky is cool. I'll figure that out one day. Yeah, that's
It's
pretty
Game
much
Positive, actually.
Is it? I probably have 2.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 followers on there.
Hell yeah. Okay. I have 2. There's no way I have 6.
Okay,
At least
you have
have
2.
10.
Okay.
I at least have 10.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Eric Byzantin looks like it's your main one.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. I tagged you on there. I'm like, I think that's
Because
what you look. Yeah.
405 follower, like, or
That's better. Yeah.
more followers on this one. So I'm going to follow the
Okay.
Thank you.
ericbyzantin.bluesky.social. So that
Everybody do that right now.
Thank you very much. I will say my YouTube channel is a kind of a barren wasteland right now, but it is primed for an epic comeback in 2025. So stay tuned. Maybe I can have you guys on. I do an interview show called Insert Coin where we just talk about
Perfect.
your gaming life one quarter at a time. Pretty fun. I think actually Chris is kind of a hangers around you guys from 1H1D.
Absolutely.
He was on Insert Coin.
Awesome.
So thanks for coming on the show, Chris. Like 2 years ago when I actually made
great.
content. But
Yes.
that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Amazing. Thank you again. We always love to spread the joy. Although having more Canadians makes me feel like I get beat up because like we don't have cool things like you guys have, and it just like I don't like the
football.
hate, you know. True.
You do
True.
have
I see the
football, don't you?
Jets.
Yeah.
I see Jets right there, Eric, and I see the jersey, and I'm like, good luck. Good
You
luck.
know what? I actually wanted to talk to you. I don't know how long. I won't get into the nitty gritty, but I decided because of the Jets are so bad and the problems are so like entrenched. They're from the owner down. Like there's no solution. It's terminal. But I can't stop being a Jet. That you can't change teams, but you can add a favorite team. And I thought I can add a team that's in a different conference, so then it will be so disconnected that I can actually enjoy Sundays again.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking, oh, but it still should have some tie to the Jets. And they had to be a franchise that's doing well, that's not a dumpster fire. So what team in the opposite conference is doing well, not dumpster fires, not pathetic? It has a history of at least being competent and has a connection to the Jets. What team is that, Todd?
Be the Minnesota Vikings,
That's
because we love
correct.
ex-Packers quarterbacks, apparently.
And Sam Darnold. That's what I was getting at. But
that's right. Sam Darnold, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be a Fairweather co-fan of the Vikings. You heard it.
Hey,
you heard it
we'll
here
take 'em
first.
all. We need more bandwagoners on the Vikings train, because we get no respect. But I appreciate it. That's amazing.
No respect.
But and one last note before we close this out, that article about Woody Johnson and then using Madden rankings to get rid of players or not choose players is ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's true, which is insane and sad.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. Well, Eric, thank you so much. This is a pleasure. I'm glad we got to connect with you and glad to have you on. You're welcome back anytime we'd like to talk about the world of video games.
Sweet. I'd love to be back. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yes, you can follow me, mostly Instagram, a little bit of threads at Canardian_Jedi, and Blue Sky doesn't do underscores, so it's Canardian-Jedi, because I can't have things be simple. But you can also just find me hanging out in our Discord group and follow me there.
Excellent. Yes, the Blue Skies is really taking off. People really seem to like it. There's good communication. But I'm also at Threads, at Toxtra, at Secret Friends Unite on the Threads, at Todd Oxtra, at Secret Friends Unite on the Blue Skies. Apparently, Mark, check your DMs on Blue Skies, because mine were closed to only followers. So if we do want to connect with people, I didn't realize that. So it's open now, but that's a great way to reach us. Unfortunately, there's no way to DM and Threads. You have to do it through Instagram. So we also have an email.
Users that are followed. Okay, there we go.
There you go. And then, so if you want to email us to secretfriendsunite@gmail.com if you want to actually reach out and email us if you can't reach our DMs. So thank you so much. Check out our Patreon, check out our Discord. We want to see more cool people in 2025. So with that, folks, be good. Leave cookies up for Santa. Light your dreidel. They don't do that. Light your menorah, spin your dreidel, and be good for all the folks who follow Kwanzaa.
Drink your eggnog.
So that's
drink
right.
your
Drink your
eggnog.
eggnog. Yeah, exactly. That's what Santa gives good gifts for eggnog. So with that, folks, just remember, it's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.